Joining me now, former U.S. Congressman from Maryland, former chair of the Congressional Black Caucus, Kwesi Mfume. It's wonderful to have you.
It's good to be here.
You represented Baltimore in the 1990s when the crime bill came before you, and when crime was very high compared to what it is now, and when the national political discussion was more cops, more punishment, more jail. What's changed?
Well, we got more crime, we got more despair, we got more poverty, and we got more distrust. I mean, trying to do this in a bill that was flawed, they put some stuff in it to sweeten it up, was really not the answer. The core of all that you are seeing and that the nation is seeing is the fact that poverty, despair, homelessness, hunger, deprivation, degradation continues in these communities. You can't box it in with a piece of legislation.
But here's the thing that's so strange about the last 20 years is that in New York City, where I'm from, in the Bronx, where I'm from, in Baltimore, the murder rate has gone down sharply. Still very high in certain neighborhoods. It's gone down sharply. Crime has gone down sharply. Poverty hasn't gotten any better.
No.
And so it allows the political system to say, well, we don't have to worry about it anymore.
Well, the political system likes washing its hands. The fact of the matter, though, poverty is increasing. Unemployment in these communities in West Baltimore, where Freddie was killed, and most of the pockets around the city for black men, for Latinos, and for poor whites is astronomical. 2, sometimes 3 times the national average. So I don't understand what's going on. I see what Harry Reid today said he directed his staff to come back with some ideas about what to do with this issue. I'm trying to figure out where was that kind of thinking back 7 years ago when my party, the Democratic Party, controlled the White House, controlled the Senate, controlled the House of Representatives, and you could have gotten anything through because you control the votes. So, you know, Harry Reid, please give me a break. Give me a break.
Do you think the Democratic Party has basically done wrong by the folks of Sandtown, Winchester?
I don't know if the party's done wrong. I think all of America has looked the other way and hoped that what we know and what we see day in and day out would either fix itself or go away, neither of which was going to happen. So it's a matter of talking the talk but not walking the walk. I mean, these communities, people are not stealing because they want to be criminals. They're not walking away and setting cars on fire. What they're saying is, look at me, I exist. I'm not invisible. Is it right? No, it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong, and it'll be dealt with. That's why men have been all over the streets, and I've been with a bunch of them for the last few days trying to talk this thing through. The community needs a conversation. But what they're saying is, look at me, I exist. Don't look away from me anymore.
Did you vote the wrong way on the crime bill in '94?
Here's the thing about the crime bill in 1994. There was no vote. It was a voice vote, so you didn't even have to be there. It was all in favor, aye, all opposed, no, and that's how it passed.
And that's how uncontroversial the idea was. More cops, 3 strikes. President signed an executive order.
41 new categories for the death penalty. 41 new. Increase in the amount of money for prisons, decrease in the amount of money for prevention. You know?
And that was unanimous. That was just a unanimously held opinion across both parties.
Well, you know, when you have a vote and say all in favor, aye, all opposed, no, and there is no roll call, you just sort of sweep it under the rug and assume that everybody's going to support it.
The law and order politics that have given us mass incarceration, many people will point to Nixon, particularly the Watts riots, the riots after King that happened here in Baltimore in '68, in Detroit and other places, as the starting point of that, right? Are we going to see a different trajectory come out of the kind of Black Lives Matter movement we've seen over the last 9-10 months?
Well, let's go back over the last 47 years, because when this city erupted in 1968 and all of us were out in the streets and being arrested just for being on your doorstep, and they arrested 6,000 people, what has changed in 47 years? You walk the streets of East Baltimore and West Baltimore, some of those areas still look like they looked in '68. You know, so the crime bill had its detractors, it had those who supported. Did anything come out of it? Well, they took the Violence Against Women's Act and rolled it in because they knew everybody would vote for that. Right. And they took several other pieces of legislation. But, you know, the fact of the matter is that when you control the House, the Senate, and the White House for 2 years, and you can't find a way to use the votes to do what you have to do, I got an issue with that. And I have an issue with my party in that respect. I want a party that is progressive and that takes the opportunity to do what it can.
Mr. Mfume, thank you very much. That was well said.
Thank you.
Really appreciate it.